to the maintenance and operation of the entire society. And the easiest thing to think about when you want to understand this particular theoretical perspective, the structural functional perspective, structural dash functional perspective, is to just think about a human body made up of many, many parts. Each of the parts contributes to the maintenance of the person, right? Raise your arm, walk. One foot and leg is dependent upon the other leg and foot and able to propel mobility. There's a role that your liver plays, a role that your kidneys play, a role that your heart plays, big role. Your lungs. There's a role that your nose plays, your tongue for taste, your teeth for chewing. There's a role for every bit of your body. All your body parts play something and have something to do with the operation of the whole. That is what the structural functionals theorists look at when they study people. How are they functioning? There are structural functional theorists who study people just by using that particular theoretical perspective. That's not the one that I subscribe to. It's a good one. That is easy. When a new tribe is in the Amazon, of people were discovered years and years ago. I don't think there's been a new tribe of people, a group of people, an aggregate of people discovered lately at all. But some sociologists years ago and archaeologists wandered into the Amazon forest. Deep, 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 wanted to make it out. But they found this aggregate of people. And somehow they were able to communicate with these people. It took a while to just be able to exist among them and watch and record these groups of people who were who like families, what we call families. These groups of people, all a part of a larger group, an aggregate. But they studied these folks from different angles. Some of the sociologists were structural functionalists, theorists, in this group of 9. Others were interactionists. Talk about that group too. There was a social conflict theorist. You often mention reference to that particular perspective, which is very interesting too. Folk like Karl Marx and others who really thrived on that social conflict theory and all that was about it. When we talk about that in a minute or so. But there's always a different angle to study sociology. You know? And if you want to study people, you just can't just come up and see people like at this table right here. They tell a story. Like yours, each table with people there tells a story about the people who sit. We don't know the stories that you all ask. But there are dynamic histories behind each one. And sociologists who are family sociologists, I teach the family as well, but those folks will be looking at your history, your personal history. They try to uncover things about you. None of us exist in a vacuum, we know that. We're all affected by and influenced by society, our families and our friends and all. Our society determines so much about each one of you, but in your own ways, your own race or relatives tell a story about the little part of society that you are really connected to. They pass it on to you, and you'll pass passed on to you all through. So, this whole notion that the author, I hate this part about Matthew, he only presents to us about three theoretical perspectives or sociological perspectives, but there are at least 9. We're going to talk about self. So you will be responsible for more than what he's presented to you. Okay? But the structural functional perspective tackles first. There's not a lot to know about that. Really. It's easy. It's all about understanding the complexities of society and how society works and how it influences all of us in some way. I grew up on the west side. So when my family moved away from the west side when I was a kid, we took some of that west side with us. And the community over there. We moved into another community. So we had to adapt. My mama having to spank me because the things I used to act up on the west side and get away with, I couldn't do it in that community. Things change. The groupings of people who influence you. The author, Mansiones, still in chapter 1, makes reference to how it is that you find a way to exist among so many variables that impact us. I gotta go back though. I should be at this first. I really need to bring you up to this whole discussion on sociological theories, perspectives. I apologize. We define sociology. We know that it is a systematic and scientific study of people. We got it. But your authors would have us to understand who the father of sociology is. And please know that, right? And you know who that is, right? Anybody know who the father of sociology is? Oh, wow. Talk to me.
Should I?
C. Wright Mills. Anybody go along with her? Huh? No. You're wrong.
Was they wrong?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Auguste Comte. I don't know how to say his last name.
Who?
August something?
August?
Yes.
Like the month August?
No.
Auguste?
Auguste?
Yeah.
It's August.
August?
August. What's the last name?
C-O-M-T.
Comte.
Comte.
C-O-M-T-E.
Yeah.
Right? August Comte.
Okay.
The father of sociology. You gotta know that. I mean, you gotta know that. Thank you, sir. What's your name?
Jabari.
Tavarius.
Yes, sir.
Last name?
Flood.
Flood. Thank you, Mr. Flood. Flood. It's a flood in here.
Okay.
Hey, last name C-O-M-T-E. August.
Look at me.
August.
Look at
The
y'all.
father of
I
sociology.
got brownie points.
But I have to tell you something.
You don't gotta do this stuff.
The father of sociology.
Okay.
He really didn't know sociology.
And they gonna say the black.
He published it. He published it. And the issue is that some of us have had to deal with, and it's nothing new either. You study sociology, you write about it, you do your research on it, some aspect of sociology that I had to do with it. You know that Auguste Comte is considered the father of sociology, but there was someone before him. There was someone before him. There was a gentleman whose name was Emmanuel Joseph Stiles. S-I-E-S-E-S.
What?
He actually coined the term sociology. Right?
those ties.
So I'm not gonna put it on the example trick question and ask you who this guy was along with. I just want you to know that, all right? The problem with Emmanuel Joseph Stiles is that his work was never published. He didn't publish the work. He had manuscripts that people found later. So he didn't advance this concept. He did not tell anybody, you know. And so people, what did he really write that? You know, because his manuscript was found out, he died. Well, who else contributed to the writing of that now? They know that there were at least two other people. So Auguste Comte, when he unearthed, if you will, this term, this word, sociology, he published all of his work. And that's the reason why he is considered the father of sociology. It's irrefutable. His work, because it's documented. Right? If you do research on something, come up with some conclusions, and never do anything with your manuscript, and then just sit there and you're dead, and then you die, your family can't come back and say, well, my husband really was the one that authored and fathered the term of sociology, this discipline of sociology. Really? Okay. You know how it is that if you invent something, you need to get a patent. You ever heard of that? Right? If y'all ever invent something, make sure you get a patent. Because somebody else will come along and do the same thing, and then they'll submit a patent and they'll claim it. Wait. The first guy didn't get a patent. So many difference. Same difference. But we'll consider Auguste Comte as being the father of sociology, right? So we're good on that, right? You also said a few things about Auguste Comte. I'll share this with you. Auguste Comte, his work with the discipline of sociology was a certain way that historians call his approach to sociology positivism. Positivism. Yeah. Positivism. Positivism. What was Auguste Comte's approach to sociology? It was positivism. What was his approach? What was his approach? He applied the same approach that scientists in other fields, he applied that same approach by looking at facts and promoting the fact that, but promoting the notion that it is the facts that sociologists should be adhering to and looking for, not speculations about it. So that's what makes Auguste Comte so unique. He was a social scientist. And so when he and others like him, and there are many others who came after him, studied sociology, they literally did the kind of research that made their efforts scientific. Right? When the vaccines came out in 2020, a lot of people had issues with the vaccine. Some people have issues about the COVID is still here, right? I said that before, right? I did. When COVID was teaching up here, we had at every school, we had hand sanitizer, paper towels, students have to come in, spray their chairs, wipe it down, their workspace in front of them, wipe it down, and say, don't do it anymore. The COVID is still here. You can still catch COVID. It's contagious. Still here. But when the vaccine came out in 2020, some people really had concerns about it. They had issues with it. Well, it hadn't been tested enough, you know? And medical personnel would say to the public that this vaccine has been tested, just as other vaccines have been tested in the years. Polio vaccine. Vaccine for diphtheria. Right? I don't know how it is now, but before we had to go to school when I was little, we had to have certain shots. I don't know, do they still do that? When kids, they do? Yeah. Well, a polio shot is one of them, right? DPH is another. There are some shots. And why do our parents have us to get those shots? You know, one, oh mama, I want to get shot. Oh God, shut up. Take the shot. Then it's over. Oh, slap a Band-Aid on it, right? Well, the reason why we, our parents, not all parents, some of y'all's parents might not, you know, accept and believe in vaccines and stuff. And it's okay. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not getting down on anybody. That's every family's prerogative, right? But the scientific evidence of the vaccine working was proven before the vaccine was allowed to be given to the public. We were so comfortable about the polio vaccine for whooping cough, and measles. You know, Texas has some measles cases, y'all know that? Some families say, well, we don't want to get our kids all this vaccine. We don't, well, measles comes out, right? And it's spread throughout the state of Texas and some other states too. It is what it is. But the FDA and CDC engage in a battery of evidence and science-based tests on vaccines to ensure that if you give this vaccine, you're going to get the same result every time. In the next chapter, when we talk about investigations, sociological investigations, we get deep into this a little bit. Because students of sociology need to understand, why is sociology a science? You know, and it's in the definition, I mean, you put that in any definition. Well, this is a science. Bill Ormer's name is a science. You know, what makes it a science? We'll talk about that next week. But there are things that scientists go through with every trial and that's attempted to see if the same results are revealed from the same level of vaccine results. It's a process. Auguste Comte, the father of sociology, was the first social scientist to engage in scientific processes as he studied people, groups of people. Read chapter 1 so you can better understand Auguste Comte and his work beyond what I'm telling you. Couldn't be, not a lot either. So, the author does get into the work of several other social scientists, and we will be getting into some other theorists as we move through our chapters. But I want to just drop that a little bit on you right now so we can move on and talk a little bit more about theoretical perspectives, which I will. So, getting back to these theoretical perspectives, we know we talked about one, the structural functional perspective on sociology. We know that those theorists who use that particular approach to study people, we know that they're looking at all these different things that people do, and how does what you do and that person did, how do all the things that these people do make for the survival of a group of people? Only what is it? If you're looking at a group of people from that angle, then you are looking at those people from the structural functionalist perspective. The author of your text gets into other folks, other kinds of perspectives. And the one I want to what I want to talk about. Here, what I want to talk about is the conflict theory, the social conflict theory. Definition, the social conflict theory. This is that theory. This is that perspective that focuses on the inequities that are found in society. Period. That's a long and short of it. You often get into some long verbiage about it, but if you get down to the point, that's all you often talk about. The social conflict perspective. It is really all about the imbalances that exist in society, the inequities that exist in society. Now, there are social theorists who follow that particular approach, who specialize in certain aspects of that particular perspective. See, there are feminist theorists who focus on nothing but the inequities that are experienced by women. And there's a lot to write about, a lot to be said about that. A lot. There are theorists who focus on the racial inequities in society. A lot has already been written about that. A lot to say about that as well. So, if you like Karl Marx, however, this social theorist, this guy really helped us, those back then, to understand that in a social order, there are levels and classes of people. Everyone is not the same. Right? I mean, if you look at Karl Marx's work, right, you're going to see such terms as the bourgeoisie. Reference. You'll see such terms as the proletariat reference. These are levels of people. And these levels of people are defined, and each level has a certain kind of expectation and a certain place in the social order. So if you're studying the bourgeoisie, then that group of people, you're going to find a whole lot of things that you're not going to find if you study those persons who are in the lower level of the social order. Right? The proletariat. Karl Marx's work became really famous during the era when industry and factories began to flourish. The author makes reference to this. Cities came up and factories began to flourish, making goods and producing all kinds of stuff as a result of how waterways, the production of steam, the production of power by using water, increased machinery's ability, and their ability to produce at rapid rates different kinds of goods and services. All this is saying that Karl Marx looked at the people who were working in these plants, and he found out that, my goodness, the owner of the factory, he never comes to the factory. He just sits at home and gets the money from the sale of the goods that are being produced in the factory, right? And then he looks at the people who are laboring and sweating in the factories. He's looking at them, and some of them don't even have homes to go to. So they sleep outside the factory until the next morning, get up, and then they go on to work. Look at the historical line that the author begins to draw. You'll see that people usually live in the outer areas of a city. They live in the city. These cities were small manufacturing camps. People lived all over the place, in the country somewhere, at their farm, or a little house, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 miles down the road. So everyone couldn't go home at the end of the day. when they worked in the factory. Some people had to stay around instead of making that 10-mile hike home, and then 10 miles back the next morning. People began to just hang around. We call that lottery right now. Right? We call that homelessness right now. Right? See people just laying on the sidewalk. Right? Their reason for doing it is not the same, however. Back then, it was because there were workers who couldn't make the journey back where they lived. But the authors go on to let us know that as these factories began to grow, cities began to expand somewhat, and more people found work in the cities and all that. More and more people had to stay close by. Crime began to emerge. Crime began to emerge. We began to see things happen that nobody expected. So they had to have the police departments emerge, sheriffs, and law enforcement people. Right? A lot of things began to happen. Your authors give a little history that you need to read about. So you can follow and learn the connections between these historical events and emerging sociology. That's what you need to read about. Chapter 1 should have been read by today. Chapter 2 we'll talk about on Monday and next Wednesday. So you really need to have read chapter 2 by Monday. Right? So you can engage in the conversation that we'll have. Chapter 2, I'm going to talk all about scientific investigations, reliability, those are all the terms that are associated So Karl Marx, social conflict theorist, as he is, as we are, made his mark. Made his mark by publishing a whole lot of work. Don't act exactly like you do, given the same situation, they'll do something. It's because of our socialization. That's another term. Socialization. Socialization. I got a definition of socialization. I'm gonna give you one word. It's better than a running book to me. One that I'll be I take that too. Socialization. Here it is. A lifelong learning process. Boom. That's it. Socialization. A lifelong learning process. We can talk about socialization of the chapters as well, but I do have a question for you. So, since socialization is a lifelong learning process, when does socialization begin? Somebody, Allie, talk to me, Allie. At birth? Okay, so when that baby is born, right, then the socialization process begins, right? Anybody not agree? Anybody not agree that the socialization process starts at birth? At birth. That baby comes out of the womb and gets smacked on the head or the bottom or whatever, starts crying. Oh, the socialization process is starting. Is that right? Huh? Y'all quiet. Is it that y'all not sure? You're not sure. You sure? You're not sure. You don't know. You don't know. When does the socialization process start? Allie, right?
Yes.
Well, she says it starts at birth. And from thereafter, it's on. I mean, we learn. Lifelong learning process, right? We learn. We still learn. Does anybody else have anything different to say? Raise your hand. Anybody besides me? Okay. Name? Cynthia? Sophia?
Yeah.
What's the last one, Sophia?
Wilder.
Wilder. Okay, Sophia. When do you think socialization began? What? This is Wilder. Wilder, right? Wilder. Perspective. Come on.
So if it doesn't start at birth, would it start when they start school, like in preschool or anything, when they get thrust into society?
When they start formal school, right?
Yeah.
When they start, you agree? Shit, when they start formal education, the teacher, the kindergarten folk who helped you all out. I guess they helped me too, but who helped you all out early in life, and began to have a formal process of ABC, right? DEF, right? All of that stuff, right? And remember when you can sing the ABC song? I was so happy when I could do that. I remember, you know. Oh, I just, yeah. Oh, this is her name? Sophia Sandy. Oh, whoa. Disagree with her.
I agree with her.
Oh, you agree with her? No, buddies, right? Okay. Go ahead.
Like you learn a lot of things when you are like itty bitty tiny that people don't realize.
That is true. I mean, literally, I remember eating dirt. No, I'm serious. My family, when we left the west side, we lived in City Gold Course apartments, right? I was the teachers. You know?
But you learn that stuff before you get to school, like with your parents and maybe siblings.
Yeah. Learn how to eat dirt.
Yeah.
My mom didn't know it. They didn't know it. But I was out there testing dirt. And the only reason I stopped is because I saw a woman. It's good help. And then I started thinking about hating. Name? Anna got something different to say, right? What's your name, Anna? Last name?
Anna Kate Harris, I don't know.
Anna